running around, I needed to focus on me again. And so I committed and said, yes, I'm going all in. I'm doing this coaching thing. And I just wanted to cover my Shakeology when I first started, because I had been struggling with IBS my entire life, and Shakeology helped that. I'd gone after a week on it. I finally had my first week of not having stomach aches. So I was like, I got to figure out how to cover that. I was teaching in the classroom until noon, and then I would go get my boys, and I would come home, and I taught online as well. And then I tutored on the side for our state teacher test. And so I was doing that in the afternoons and then on the weekends. My husband is a high school Spanish teacher and football coach. So in the fall, he's gone 12 to 15 hours a day, 6 days a week. So busy was my life. And so to add one more thing, I just was like, all right, let's do it. He makes this is funny right now. And so I had to try to figure out this whole power hour thing, and how can I coach when life is so busy, when I don't feel like doing it because I'm sad. I started a month and a half before my due date. And so I went in during like the most stressful and hardest time I could go through. But I was like, I'm just going to give it a try. And I figured out how to weave it into my schedule. So I'm just going to go through a little bit about that and my daily routine as I was a teacher. I get all the time now, well, now you're home full time. Yes, but that's not how I built my business. I had to make a full-time income before I was allowed to come home. And so we needed that income. And even today, I don't have a choice. I either work my Beachbody business or I leave my boys. And so when I first started, I didn't do what I should have. I just went straight in, working all the hours, having my phone by me all the time, answering a message if anybody messaged me, because I was like, well, they're going to go to somebody else if I don't message them back right away. My husband got burnt out. He was like, you are never around. You're always on your phone, and you're not making enough money to warrant you being gone. And so we had to have a sit-down conversation, and I suggest that to anybody. You need to sit down with your spouse, your significant other, and really discuss your goals. Really discuss what is it going to take for you to get that goal? What is it going to look like? And then make a plan. And once we did that, and once my husband realized that this business was going to take time and attention and planning, we were able to work out a schedule that worked for us. And so what worked for us was I needed to make sure and have family time scheduled. I needed to make sure and have time with him so that he still felt the importance and we still worked on our marriage. And then I could have Beachbody time. And so that meant starting my work after all of that was done at like 10 o'clock at night. So I would usually start my power hour around 10. I had to be to work I left for work at 6 or 6:15 in the morning. So getting up any earlier than 5, just, I wasn't ready for that just yet. So I stayed up late, and I would get that in, and I would make sure and go through that list, and I wouldn't go to bed until that was done. So sometimes it took me an hour, sometimes it took me 2, but I needed to make sure that I was intentional about that. On Saturdays, we had worked out between my husband and I that I was going to get up at 6 and work until 8 or 9, and he would take the boys and would feed them breakfast, play with them, take them to the park, entertain them, so I could get that time. Because during the week, obviously, grading and everything else that comes with life, I needed that weekend time. We weren't willing to give up Sundays. Sundays is my day off still. The only thing I do is post. You do need a rest day, so decide what that's going to be. And I have those posts completely planned out and ready to go, so all I have to do is copy, paste, go. But just so after, when it was at the 9 o'clock time or 8 o'clock time, whatever we had figured out for that week, it was done, I would go away. If I needed more time, I would wait until everybody was in bed, and I'd start over again. Now, this isn't ideal for everybody. And as time went on and I decided I wanted to come home full time, I had, he's super lovey boy. I had decided that I needed to work in more of my pockets. And so I used timers, and I still use timers because I get distracted. And so I have an hour and a half planned out that I hand out to all my coaches, and it is a 90-minute timer. So if you have 15 minutes, you can look at the list and say, all right, I have 15 minutes. Which task is 15 minutes? And I can do that. Or if I have 5 minutes, I mean, I even have 5-minute tasks that I do. And it, follow, unfollow on Instagram, go and like people's posts, those easy tasks that I can do while my kids were doing their warm up for my class. So, or I stopped going to lunch with my friends. I didn't go down to the teacher lounge anymore. And so I got an extra 30 minutes when I would do that. And what was also helped for those of you who are even like nursing mamas, I would do it in the middle of the night. When I was up with the baby, I would be sending messages. But just having that list of 10 and 15-minute tasks, because that's all it really is. You don't need 30 or 45 minutes to do anything. You just need 10 or 15 minutes of focused time. And so that's what I started doing. And my timers saved me. The other thing that I needed to be really intentional about was having my list of things that I needed to do. For me, it was easier for me to plan my posts all on one day of the week. And so I have Mondays are my planning day for posts. I schedule them. I use Buffer. Now Facebook lets you schedule posts for free and stuff, so that's awesome. I still love Buffer because I can go in and use old check-in posts and not have to recreate the wheel. But I would do that on Mondays. On Tuesdays and Fridays are my follow-up days. Now I do it a little more often, but those were my follow-up days because they were 2 and 4 days apart. So that way I could message on a Wednesday and a Thursday, and I could follow up on those days. That way it wasn't too far in between. And then my invite days were the other days. And the reason I had to do this was so I could focus more. And if you're good and you need to do them all at once, do them all at once. What do you need? You want water? But for me, it was just easier to have that schedule. And then if I had extra time, I would fit in more invites or fit in more follow-ups or connections and stuff. Because I knew that for my personality, my teacher in me, I really needed that structure. And if you don't have a lot of time, you really do need that structure. I apologize. It is football season. My husband I've seen him for 25 minutes today, so he'll be home at 9 o'clock tonight. And so having those priorities and figuring out what you need to do. The other thing that I had to do was I had to give up my shows. I had to give up Netflix. I had to give up. I mean, I recorded them. I recorded them, and then I could watch them on Sundays while everybody was napping. But I didn't watch anything during the week, unless it was like something with my husband and we were hanging out. But I needed to really focus for that full year and get it done. And I had committed to a full year when I started. I said, I'm going to go 1 year, see how this goes. And the reason I tell all my coaches you need to commit to at least a full year is because you can't get good at this or even know what's going on half the time in a year. You can't build the trust with somebody. And for me, it took me 12 months to say yes to my coach. And so I thought, what if I'm out there waiting 12 months watching you? And the majority of my rockstar coaches came at that 6 and 12 month mark. Every 6 to 12 months. So it's like they've been stalking me for that long, and then they finally committed. And then I also felt like, okay, I paid, you want to know, like $50,000 to get my math degree. And I spent hours studying. I spent 4 years of my life dedicated to that. And I didn't think I was going to be a good teacher for at least 2 or 3 years. And I was willing to give up 7 years of my life to be good in an occupation. Why am I not willing to give up at least a year in this? And so I went to Beachbody school. I watched videos never believed. Anita Myron 3 years ago had this Star Diamond in 90 days. I watched all of them in the month of March, fast. I watched anything and everything on YouTube. And now the back office has a million trainings that you can listen as you drive or while you're doing laundry. And so I multitasked. Making dinner, something's in my ear. I'm washing dishes. I have a video, like my computer or laptop on the stuff. But I wanted to get my Beachbody degree and be good at what I did. And I had to invest a little bit of money to make sure, like for personal development books or a class or something on Instagram or Facebook ads. And I struggled with that investment. I really did, because being two teachers, the income wasn't there. Like we hadn't had those pay increases, but I knew it needed to happen. And so we have our little spending money. We do Dave Ramsey budgeting. So we have our spending money, and I saved my spending money so that I could buy those things, so that I could invest. Because I knew and I believed in this business. I needed my husband to believe in this business. And I knew that I couldn't take it away from my family. And so, the sacrifices that I'm talking about, you have to decide why. And I always heard that the why has to make you cry. And I was like, yeah, whatever. But I was sitting at work one day, and my oldest was in kindergarten, and it was right around Thanksgiving. And I got a text from one of my really good friends. Her son and my son are best friends. And she said, Bryson was crying at lunch today, and it still makes me cry because you weren't there for Thanksgiving lunch. And she's like, don't worry. We sat with him. We gave him hugs and told him, like, Mama told us that we needed to sit with you and try to make him feel better. But all I could see is my 5-year-old sitting alone in the cafeteria waiting for me to walk through the door. Sorry. And I was like, I'm not doing that again. I'm not letting that happen again. I will lose sleep. I will give up shows and hanging out with friends so that I can be there. And my second was in kindergarten last year, and I was at everything. I walked him in every day until he told me to stop. And she said, Mama, I'm good. You can just drop me off. But I was at every field trip, every lunch, even like the come for 30 minutes at the end of the day. I was there. And just seeing the light on his face that I got to be there was amazing. And maybe you don't want to quit your job because you don't want to. I had always wanted to stay home. But maybe it's you're tired of drowning in debt, or you're tired of telling your kid they can't do gymnastics, or you can't go on that trip. Like whatever it is that you want, you have to make it so that it's been 3 years, almost 4 years, and I'm still crying about it because I don't want that to happen for the next two. These two have no idea that Mama ever went to work. Like they think Mama just works at her computer, and I love that. Me, my little boy, my 2-year-old walks around with his phone and says, "I on a call, Mama." Like he thinks he's going to work when he's on a call. So I always tell him I need to go get on a call. He needs to take a nap. So, let's see. Sorry, I digress. I always did PD in the car when I was driving, so I could. Hey, you have to be quiet. I did PD in the car so that I could listen and not. I was like 20 minutes to work, 20 minutes picking them up. I got a lot in. I always pick a business PD, and then I pick a personal PD, something that I need. Sometimes it's just like the best yes. I'm committing myself. I'm over-committing myself. I need to listen to something that tells me it's okay not to. Or present over perfect, because I feel like, I got to be for everything. And then sometimes I need to listen to You Are a Badass because I need somebody to talk me up. I listen to that at least every other month. But just finding those, and I can usually go through 2 or 3 books in a month. I have a free app on my phone from the school library, or from the library in the city. And a lot of them have them that you can download free audiobooks. So it doesn't even have to cost money, but just that's where I made up time. And then my workout would be with my boys. They were always with me. Let's see. I already went over that. Sorry, I just opened the screen. But the thing that I always make sure and say is that we have to treat it like a business. A lot of times we tell them, oh, you just do your power hour. It's great. But in reality, and I'm being a math-minded person, if you only spend the 1 power hour a day, after an entire month, you've worked 31 hours. Now wait, let's take off our 4 Sundays, and now you've worked 27 hours. That's not even a full week at a full-time job. And we want to quit at 3 months. And if you do all the hours for 3 months, you've worked like 80 hours. So like just remembering that and putting that in perspective, when you start getting frustrated or you start getting discouraged, is ask yourself, how much time are you putting in? Like, what are you really dedicating? And I thought I was spending more time, to be honest. Like I would be like, yeah, I'm totally working like 30 hours a week. I'm totally dedicating all this. So I started tracking it. I have it on my phone. I still track it. If I do something, I write 15 minutes or half an hour. And that was like eye-opening because I realized I was working half the hours I thought I was. And so now I'm like, okay, I have to, and it's not the scrolling hours. You can't count those. You need to say those dedicated hours. That's the other thing. You can't scroll Facebook anymore. I have no idea what's going on Facebook or Instagram or the news. My husband's like, oh, did you see that? Nope. I have no idea what's going on, literally. But that's because I would rather be hanging out with them than wasting 20 or 30 minutes scrolling. And that's what it is. You're like, you think it's 5 minutes and then an hour's gone by and you're like, oh, great. What did I do? But just treating it like a business. You wouldn't be happy. Like you'd get fired if you only showed up 30 hours in a month at a job. So like, I'm not saying you have to work 40 hours a week. I probably won't until my children are in school. But I'm going to make sure and do the sacrifices that I need to. So I get up now at 4:30 or 4:45 every day. I just started sleeping through the night in February or March. So it's been wonderful. I have had two years of no sleep. But I get up early so that I drink my Energize. I'll do my personal development because I'm not driving to school right now because it's summer. I do my workout. There's about 8 of us who jump on a Zoom at 5 a.m. and we do our workout. And some of them are from my challenge group. And to be honest, I started doing the 5 a.m. workout because one of my girls in my challenge group she had every excuse. So now I get her up at 5 and we work out. And actually it's been amazing. So then I do my workout, and once my workout's done, I do my morning post, and I will do follow-ups or invites until I hear the first kid. And that's usually around like 6:30 right now. And then I do mom life. And then what time do I go to bed when you get up so early? Oh, I told you I don't sleep. I usually go to bed at 10. I should go to bed earlier, but my husband doesn't get home until 9, and so I really want to see him. So our time is from 9 to 10, unfortunately. I take naps on Sundays. Every Sunday I get a nap. And then this little guy naps from 10 to 11 every single day. And so from 10 to 11, Zane and I hang out. He is watching a show or playing with Legos or something, and I'm sitting next to him and I'm doing mindless stuff, the likes, the follows, the things that I don't have to have my 100% attention because he's going to interrupt me, but I still need to use that time. And then they both nap from 1:30 to 3:30 every day, give or take time. And so that's the time where everything is shut off and my timers are on and I am going full force at this. I'm glad you think that's funny. And so, and then the big boys are home from school and we do dinner and everything like that. And I still do my Saturdays because I need that extra time. But my schedule looks different. Instead of leaving my kids for those 6 a.m. to 3 p.m., I'm with them. But like I said, I still have to work, so we make it happen. Let's see. I think I had some of the questions like, how do I stay focused when I'm stressed out already? That really goes back to my why, because for me, if I don't hit my income goal, I have to leave my kids, and I can't do that. And I know, like, I'm a highly qualified math teacher. I could walk into any school tomorrow and they will hand me a full-time position with bonuses because we are short like 100 math teachers in Arizona. And so like, I know I have that, like, but I don't want to leave them. And I could do both. I don't want to do both. So I think like when I'm stressed, I just think like, what's the alternative? Like, and the other thing that gets me is like, I have a lot of obesity in my family, and I don't want to not show up, because what if that one girl who's finally ready to say yes needed that post today or needed that message? And I use TeamINSIDE, and not everybody likes TeamINSIDE, but I need it because it tells me who to talk to, when to talk to them. It reminds me, and my brain needs that. And so I love it because so many times I've just reached out for a hey girl because they're on my list for TeamINSIDE, and they're like, oh my goodness, I've been watching you and I really needed to talk to you today. Like that for me, I'm just like, we hadn't had any conversation about Beachbody, but they needed to hear from me today. And so this is my mission field now. It used to be dirty little high schoolers and who hated math, but now I get to get people healthy. And I get to change lives. I know that there's chat stuff, so I want to make sure if I have any questions. Yes, I will give you that 90-minute list. I have it, and I will send it to you. It's nothing crazy, but it's just 5 minutes, blah, blah, blah. And it's helped a lot of people on my team do that. Let's see. You can lock yourself in the bathroom. I sometimes do. I really do. Let me see. Oh, so for my hey girls, it depends on who, like I'll go and like look at their feed or their whatever and say something about them. I'd be like, hey girl, blah, blah, I know, how are you doing? I hope you're having a great week, or I hope you had a great weekend. I noticed that, blah, 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 or the picture of your little girl is absolutely adorable. Did you guys have fun at that? I just try to connect with them that way. Sometimes it's, some of them, if I've been building that relationship, it's calling them out. I called a girl out the other day because she's been following me for 3.5 years and literally asks me every 6 months to join my group. And this last time I said, this is getting ridiculous. Like, you ask me every 6 months. By now, you could have lost your weight like 6 times over. Why are you not committed? And it's always money. So I'd be like, you could have saved $1 a day. No, let's say 50 cents a day. And you would have had like 7 challenge packs. So like, let's get down to what's really the issue. But I think because I'm super consistent, like I have missed maybe 2 days of posting my entire time, and I was camping. And so like, I'm so consistent that they expect me to be there and they see me. And so just asking them how they're doing, just how's your week? But I do like to go look at something that's personal on their page just so that we can connect a little bit. And I'm in a lot of boy mom groups. And so I have a lot of boy mom friends. And those ladies are crazy, let me tell you. I mean, we live with all boys, so. But just like connecting to them on that personal level. I think that is about all that I had planned. If you have questions, I am happy to answer.
I loved your talk. I just listened so much of what you said, like especially like your timer, you're planning ahead with your posts, you work freaking hard, you know your why, and you make it happen. Like those are the characteristics that I want in a coach. Gosh, and your why is so strong. I love that. I love how you said that you worked so hard for your math teacher degree. Like, why not put that work into your Beachbody business and learning everything you can, like you did for 4 years for your teaching job? Why wouldn't you give Beachbody that same opportunity? Like, that just really stuck in my head. I really like too how you said you track your hours to really bring it into perspective of how much work you really are doing. Like, I think I'm going to start doing that as well. because I know I want to complain a lot about things, but if I track it, it'll really help me. Does anyone have any questions?
Hourly wage. Like, I have figured out my hourly wage because I want to know, like, and when I figured that out, I was like, holy cow, I need to work more hours. If I make $55 an hour, why am I not working more hours?
Right. That is awesome. Anyone have any questions? Come on, guys. I know you do.
Come on, new coaches. I know there's a few of you. No?
I don't have questions, but I'm the same way. Just hearing you make the statement about, we talk about doing just an hour a day, but if there's something you truly want to do, right, and make this your full-time business, an hour a day being literally 30 hours a month, it's like, oh, that's really not that much at all. It's just a little bit of an eye-opener, which is good.
And I know, like, life is busy and it's hard. Like, for the past 18 months, like, my boys are 11 months apart. And when I don't know if any of you have ever dealt with the foster care system, you have people in your house all the time. You have meetings, you have court. And so I had a newborn and an 11-month-old that I had to hide on social media. So that in itself is super ridiculous. And August 14th, I cannot wait to share with everybody and no longer have to hide a human being. But it is possible if you just really, like, focus. And I'm okay that I'm not top 10. Like, right now, my goal is to be home with my kids and to be fully present. And so that's why you have to know what your goal is and then figure out how many hours you need to commit. And one of my uplines was like trying to tell me about Emily Favre and how she went from 1 star to 19 diamonds. You can do it. And I said, listen, we're completely different. I have 4 children. 2 of them are 1 and 2. And she has no children. And it's a completely different world for a mom and a non-mom, even a mom of 1 compared to a mom of 2 and 3. And so try not to compare your story. Try not to be like, well, they went fast. I even look at other teachers and I'm like, they quit so much faster than me. And I'm like, wait a second, their story is different. Their start is different. Nobody is the same. Like, we can't compare apples and oranges. And so knowing what your goals are and your why, you go after that. And if top 10 is yours, then, well, my hours are not going to be sufficient. You need to figure out your hours.
I really, yeah. Go ahead, Ashley. Go for it.
I just thought that was awesome. I do have a quick question about your boy mom groups. You kind of caught my eye there, or my ear. What, on Facebook, you're finding boy mom groups?
No,
it might start approaching.
I'm actually an admin for a boy mom group. There are like 3,500 of us in it. You cannot search it. You must be invited. So I can invite you. But if you have a daughter, a stepdaughter, you are not allowed in. Like, it's very, very specific. No, I'm not even kidding. Like, these boy moms, and people get mad, and I'm like, listen, if you wouldn't ask me in a twin mom group if you didn't have any twins, like, if you
so if I have 1 girl and 3 boys, I can't be in a boy mom group.
No. Yeah. Because there's a lot of people who have gender disappointment and they long for that girl.
Wow.
And so seeing pictures of them really do bring that out. So it's just a group for them to feel supported. I get a lot of comments, a lot of negative comments about having all boys. And so it's just my way of somebody's not going to be negative about it.
Got it.
Yeah. But there are some mom of both, those types of groups that you can get into.
Denied.
I'm sorry.
Shut down.
I didn't make that rule. I just have to enforce it.
Okay, sounds good. Great call.
Well, Melissa, I don't want to take up too much more of your time. It's about 9:15 here, and I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy day to get on a call with us and share with us Coaching for the Long Haul, and sharing with us how you make it happen and make a strong 3-star diamond team, hitting Success Club more than 42 months now in a row and making it happen every single month. She's at the top of her leaderboard every single month, and making it happen with, like she said, the 4 boys and just busy life happening. So thank you so much. I'll share the recording after we get it put up on YouTube. If anyone
Everybody smile. Cheese.
Oh, yay.
Ah, so good looking.
All right. I'm going to end the recording here.